It's so good to be back in Tulsa. It's been a while, and I'm really happy to be back here. I had a moment when I was driving down from Chicago, and I was like, I wonder when I'm gonna hit the South. Because there's a moment when you're taking any road trip that goes through the South or to the South when you go, I've made it. And I had that moment a lot sooner than I thought I would, because the time I had that moment was in Farmersville, Illinois. It's a town of 600 people, and I saw a barn that on the side of it, freshly painted, it said Trump 2020 in a font that I can only describe as hillbilly papyrus. Like it was like skinny at the bottom and then got bigger at the top. Like it just screamed run. Like that's all. So yeah, it was a good time. It's really nice to be back. I've had some like interesting interactions in Chicago. I ran into a thing that an opinion that I didn't realize was an opinion, which is just my stance on it. I'm not pro-military, but I am pro-veteran. Like I don't love the military and like what it stands for, or the fact that it's owned by companies at this point. But I do. I'm like, if you fight for the military and you're a veteran, like I think you did a good thing, and I will treat you with the respect that you have gotten. But I've run into some people in Chicago who are anti-veteran, which is a really weird stance, and their argument is really stupid. Because the argument is, I don't like veterans because they did this thing and now they want special treatment because they served in the army. They just want special treatment because they served in the military. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, of course they want special treatment. They did a thing for 4 years. Like, I'm no better, you're no better. I'm no better. I know I'm no better because I got a vasectomy 2 years ago and I haven't shut the fuck up about it. I talk about it constantly, to the point where it's become a game for myself. Where it's like, every conversation I'm in, I'm like, I wonder how I can bring my vasectomy into this. Somebody will be like, I went to the water park recently, and I'm like, really? Well, speaking of kids in tubes, I did a thing. So yeah, it's just a weird stance to me. I've been losing weight. I lost about 90 pounds at this point, and it's a weird thing to applaud for. It's a weird thing because it's like, yay, there's less of you. Like it's a weird thing. But I lost some weight, and the way I lost weight is I like track my protein, and I track my fiber, and I track my carbs, and I track all that stuff. And I have to use an app to do this. I have to use an app to track all these things. And I have an app that I really like. It's great. It has all the stats. It's super, super good. I fucking hate the name of the app. Because the name of the app is Fat Secret. It's not a secret. We all can tell. There's nobody behind me at a show just like, hey, listen, don't tell anyone. Ethan's a little chubby. Like, we all fucking know. Have you seen what I'm wearing? Unbuttoned jacket over a shirt? Like, that's the trademark uniform of Tulsa. Like, if this had a name, it would be pre-diabetic chic. Like, that's what this is. Alright, so, I don't know, it's a really weird thing. I've had some interesting experiences. I've been doing comedy for a while, and my parents disagree. But I've been doing it for a while, and I've had experiences that I never thought I would have. One time I got booked to do a show in Peoria, Illinois, because I'm a big shot, and I'd been doing comedy for like 2 years at that point, and so it was like my first out-of-state gig, so I was really excited about it. It was me and a friend, and we drove up there, and we made a mistake, which is that we drove up to it was an anime convention where they booked me for some reason, but I got booked to do an anime. I feel like they just saw me in a photo of me from high school, and they were like, he'll be good. So they booked me to do a show at an anime convention, and we drive up, and we made a mistake, because our Airbnb didn't open until 3 p.m. and we got there at 4 in the morning the day before. So we just had to like sleep in a Target parking lot one night, and it was, I should mention, it was January, so it was -2 degrees. And we were sleeping in my Chevy Impala. Like it was not roomy. So we're sleeping in that, and I don't know if you know this, but you can't run a CPAP in an Impala. So it wasn't the best night of sleep. So I don't know if you knew that. Work in that environment of very finicky machines. I looked like the lamest fighter pilot. Like I should have just put cardboard on the side to make it look like a really shitty spaceship. Just be like, no, I'm not sad, I'm having the time of my life. No, so it didn't work in that car. And so what happened was, I got really sick. Because I also packed for I was an idiot and I packed for January in Oklahoma. And January in Oklahoma is 40 degrees. So I had just I had a hoodie and that was it. And so I was so sick. And we had to do 3 shows. We had to do 1 show one night and 2 shows the second night. So we do the first night, everything goes fine. Everything goes good. Then the first show, the second night, the way that it goes is I'm going to open, I'm going to do 25 minutes. My buddy Landry, he's going to do 25 minutes. And then we're going to talk to the crowd for 10 to 15, right? We're going to have just a little conversation with the crowd, a little back and forth. So I go up on stage, I'm doing my set. I do about 12 minutes of material. I'm doing my set, and then I hit a punchline, and it was something stupid, a fist around the door. I was like, ha! It was a really bad joke. And then, right as I hit the punchline, I shit myself. And this is what it looked like if you were in the audience. It looked like I went like this. I hardly know her. Oh God! It looked like I grew 8 inches suddenly. I guess I was like, fuck, oh God, hey. And so I panicked and I didn't know what to do because I still had more than half of my set left. And that is the moment that I discovered that I was a professional. Because I proceeded to do, what are you clapping for? Think about what you're clapping for right now. Just take 2 seconds to think about it. Because I did 13 minutes of shit in my pants. And it wasn't a little bit. My pants sagged. It was a lot. It was raw. It looked like I filled my diaper. It was bad. Why is my grandpa here? I appreciate it. I've got this though. I've done this for a while. That's okay. But so I pooped my pants. And then I did 13 minutes more stand-up. And then I had to bring Landry up on stage. And normally the way I bring Landry up on stage is, ladies and gentlemen, your next comic. It was written for Conan, it was written for Ellen, written for BoJack Horseman. Please give it up for Landry Miller, right? And so I normally do his intro. This is how I did the intro this time. And I fucking ran. I just was like, okay, I just sprinted. I sprinted through the lobby of the hotel that this anime convention was at. I was the 4th worst smelling person there. I'm running, there's a lot of people, and I was running through, and I go to the bathroom, and I'm trying to clean up as best as I can, because I have to go back on stage. I have to go back on stage after Landry's set. So I'm going, and I'm trying to clean up as best as I can, and as I'm cleaning up, I started to get a little emotional. Because I was like, look at your life. You're in a Hilton bathroom, washing shitty underwear in the sink. Look at your life, sir. So I started crying a little bit. I was and then at that moment, somebody walked into the bathroom. And here's how he walked into the bathroom. Hold on. Here's how he walked in. Nope. He said no. He was like, I don't have time. my underwear as best as I could with dish soap or whatever's in there. You know, and then I had to go back on stage. So I put on my recently shat pants. I walked back on stage. And a thing you guys should know about Landry is that he is an asshole. And the people laughing really hard about Landry. And I walk on stage, and Landry hands me a microphone. And he goes, hey Ethan, something happened in the middle of your set. What happened? Like he didn't know what happened, but he knew something happened. And so he was like, Ethan, what happened during the middle of your set? And I was just sitting there holding the mic, and I didn't know what to do, so I just went, I shit my pants. And it was dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop. And there was a couple seconds, and then Landry went, you know you can lie, right? And as if that wasn't bad enough, we do our 10 minutes of crowd work, and then a person comes up to me and Landry afterwards, and they have like their little anime event brochure of like all the things that are gonna happen, and they run up to Landry, and I'm standing right next to him, and I run up to Landry, they're like, oh my God, I loved you so much. You were so good. Could you please sign this for me? And then they looked and saw that I was standing right next to Landry, and they went, you can sign too if you want. And that is, if I had a gun in that moment, my career would have ended there. That would have been it. So, you know, rock bottom is an interesting thing. We just had Christmas. I've never told this story because it just happened. We just had Christmas, and my grandmother, her name is Hattie. I have a grandma Hattie. She's 85 years old. She's born and raised in Oklahoma. Born on a cotton farm in Oklahoma. All right. She is mean and the cheapest woman I've ever met in my entire life. Like, to give you an example of how cheap my grandmother is, one year for Christmas, she went to Walmart and bought a combination earring and necklace set, and then ripped it in half and gave the earrings to my mom and the necklace to my aunt. Like, that's how and like, had no shame about it. Just didn't even, it was like a $10 thing, and she was like, and for you, and for you. And this year, she outdid herself. Because the gifts she gave out at Christmas this year were the things she won at bingo from her retirement home. Those were her gifts. And let me tell you a few of them. So what she gave to my mom and my aunt, both are named Shelley, and they both get combination gifts. Listen, it's weird. It's weird. My stepdad's name is Tychus, his uncle's name is Dinas, or my uncle's name is Dinas. We don't have enough time to get into that. All right, there's two. That family's weird. All right, they're also here, so you know. But so my mom and my aunt Shelley always get a combination gift, and so. My grandmother, to give an image of my grandmother, imagine the grandma from Beverly Hillbillies with 8,000 more wrinkles. All right, that's my grandmother. She looks more and more like an overcooked shrimp every day, just like slowly curling forward. And so she goes to my mom and makes a big deal about it. And she goes, "This is for you and Shelley to share." And it was a bag of Russell Stover's, like, chocolate-covered coconut thing. It was, like, sugar-free, right? And then she turns to my Aunt Shelley and goes, "And this is for you." And, like, Derek Jeter throwing to first just pitches it at my aunt, like, hits her in the face with it. And what she threw at her was a bag of sour cream and onion Ruffles. And before you ask, Ethan, was it a family-sized bag? Or was it even just a regular-sized bag? No. It was a single serving size bag of sour cream and onion ruffles like you get with your meatball marinara from Sandoval. That was it. That's my stepdad right there. He was helping her. Because what happened was, she didn't wrap any of these gifts, right? They weren't like delicately wrapped. They didn't even have both on them. She just sat down on her walker with like a bag of shit in front of her. And she made a whole big deal about it. It's not time to give gifts. But I should clarify, she's been wanting to die for a year. She's done. She's so like, fuck this place. And it's amazing. And so then, what happened after that, she gave up all pretense of giving a shit after that. Because then, what happened was my stepdad would reach into the bag and pull out a gift and be like, Hattie, who is this for? And her response was, whoever needs it. So she said, who the fuck needs it? I don't fucking care. I don't want to fucking be here anymore. I'm tired. So, just to give you a couple more of the highlights, my cousin Andy, for Christmas this year, apparently what she needed was a pocket-sized thing of Kleenex. That was her gift. My gift this year was an opened swag bag. Like an opened Christmas swag bag. Like, I feel like it's something that they just left at the door of every retiree at the retirement home. And I think the ones that were still there a couple days later is how they knew who had died in the night. Like, that's too fucking dark. And then, listen, who cares? And so it was an opened gift, like swag bag, and inside was 2 miniature Hershey's, a miniature Three Musketeers that was stale, and a miniature baby Snickers. And that was my Christmas gift this year. And I think my favorite part of it was after she gave away all these gifts, just like chucking them at people. Just like all her remaining strength has to be in her right arm. Because she could have gotten like drafted by the Astros now. She was pitching. It was just heaters, straight heaters. And then, so after she gives out all these carefully well thought out gifts, she makes my stepdad quiet the room and make an announcement. And the announcement was, all right, Hattie wants everyone to know that when it gets warm, she's going to take everyone out to dinner. That's her final gift, right? And then my stepdad added, as a joke, my stepdad added, and just so y'all know, it's going to be Golden Corral. And my grandma Honey went, yep. But my two favorite parts about that are, number one, when it gets warm, because, you know, Golden Corral, you can't go when it's cold because of all that patio seating. What you gonna do with your 3-hour-old prime rib if it gets flies on it? And number two, I love that she specified when it gets warm because she knows she won't make it that far. And that's her way of getting out of buying everyone dinner. So that's my Grandma Hattie for you. Oh, wait, which is, after all this happened, my cousin Andy, the one who got the pocket tissues, Grandma's favorite, as I like to call her, she went over to my grandmother, again, 85, just looking like an English bulldog, right? Went over to her, and she's just sitting there looking like a gargoyle. And she goes, Grandma, I want you to know you were very rude. You were very rude this year. And I was like, why the fuck? I've never loved her more. Why would you be mean to her? This is the I wish I could have had ready to die grandma for the last 28 years. Because this is the best iteration of grandma. Oh my God, I was in tears. that transitions. I have autism. I didn't always have autism, but a kid handed me a fidget spinner and I caught it. So. Thank you for laughing at that. Because I told that joke in Joplin, Missouri, and fucking no one laughed. They were just like, that's how you get it, continue. But I have autism, and I have a therapist that has autism. And that's actually really nice. It's really nice to have a therapist that actually knows what you're going through. Because she can she can tell me what's going on and help me figure out what's going on with my brain. But there are moments when it does kind of feel like the blind leading the blind. Because I'll go into therapy and I'll be like, well, I had a really weird social interaction and I don't know what to make of it. And my therapist's like, fucking beats me. It's like you handed two rookie detectives the John Benet Ramsey case. And we're like, it's either the mom or the brother, we don't fucking know. They gave us yarn to connect clues, but we misread the instructions and made a sweater, and I don't fucking know. So it is nice. I will say, I technically don't, I have Asperger's. I don't technically have autism, but Asperger's isn't a thing anymore. Asperger's, they got rid of it. And they got rid of it because Hans Asperger's, the guy who discovered it, was a Nazi. And so they got rid of Asperger's as a diagnosis. And that's always been weird to me, because if he's a Nazi, that means he's German, right? And it's just really strange to me that Germans were the ones to be like, these children are a little socially awkward. Because I don't know if you've ever met Germans, but they're the most autistic people on the planet. Germany as a country would 100% fit the DSM-5 criteria for autism. Very strictly regimented. If things go incorrectly, people kill. They're the most literal people. They don't get jokes at all. Don't play well with others. Boy, howdy. I so strongly believe that all Germans are autistic that you could 100% convince me that World War II was just Germany not understanding boundaries. Just well, what we must do is we are out of money, so we must invade Poland and rob them of all their money, because that would be good. And then, just that all these people are touching us, that makes us feel a little bit claustrophobic. So then we're going to probably attack Britain, because Britain's always over our fucking business, and so we'll hit them with some blitzkrieg, and then Russia's going to come in from the west, and we have to deal with, I'm so sorry, what's that? We're not supposed to do that? Oh my god. Are you serious? How long has this been a thing? Invading countries is bad? You didn't tell, no one told us. We had no idea. This is egg on our face. This is bad. This is wonderful power we've committed. Like I said, I got a vasectomy. I know you're like, man, I wish this guy would have kids. We need more of this bright sun shining out of my life. But I got a vasectomy, and because I'm a hero, and I got my vasectomy, and I found out that there are a lot of misconceptions about vasectomies. There's a lot of people, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was asking me questions about my vasectomy, and because he had been considering getting one. And I was like, hey, if you're considering getting a vasectomy, you should totally do it. Because I got mine, it took 30 minutes. It was pretty affordable, it was pretty painless. If you're considering getting one, you should absolutely do it. And he was like, yeah, but I just don't want things to change down there. And I was like, well, what do you think's gonna change? And he was like, well, after you get a vasectomy, you know? Anymore. I was like, what? He was like, after you get a vasectomy, you know? Anymore. And I was like, do you think after you get a vasectomy, you don't come anymore? That's not how it works. It's not like I got a vasectomy and all of a sudden my penis is throwing up on an empty stomach. It's just like, hey, baby, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. Do you have saltines and Sprite? I need some saltines and Sprite. There's like a penis with an ice pack on his forehead. Another friend of mine was like, oh, you got a vasectomy. I bet you're saving a lot of money on condoms. And I was like, that wasn't a big expenditure. I wasn't doing my budget every week being like, condoms through the roof. There was a lot of Arby's again. I will say, like, I'm not the most suave of people. The other day a girl was flirting with me, and I said, without, like, she started saying, like, oh, you're really cute, and like, I like this, blah, blah, and I said, unironically, oh, if you don't quit with that talk, I won't be able to make eye contact. That's my game. That's it. That's my riz, as the kids say. But I got my vasectomy, and I remember my vasectomy wasn't normal. Because what happened was, like, they told me before the procedure that, like, we're gonna give you a Valium before the vasectomy. And I was like, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I get to do drugs and have unprotected sex. This is everything Dare warned me against. I'm a bad boy for the first time in my life. Hell yeah. Doing prescribed things. And so I get to the doctor's office, and they sit me in a little side waiting room, and they hand me a pill, and I'm like, fucking hell yeah, do it. I looked at the nurse, and I was like, and she was like, oh, gross. No, thank you. But I was like, yeah, drugs. And then they, like, put me in, like, the operating room, and they were like, okay, here's what we need you to do. We need you to take your pants and underwear off. Keep your shirt on. And they stressed it in a way that was kind of... I was kind of like, I've been working really hard on this. And then they were like, all right, and also, if you want, you can take your socks off or leave them on. It's up to you. And I opted to take my socks off because I don't know if you've ever seen a man wearing socks, no pants, and a shirt. But he looks more naked than he's ever looked in his entire life. That's a man that you do not associate with. So I'm laying there on the operating table, I'm Winnie the Pooh again, and I'm laying there, and they were like, here, cover yourself up with this tissue paper. And I was like, ooh, protection. And so I covered myself up with that, and then the doctor came into the room, and he like whipped the tissue paper off of me, and he went, perfect, and I went, thank you. I was like, Dr. Chuck. He was talking about my shave job, but I needed the confidence boost. And then they like sterilized the area, and then they took one of those like blue surgical shields, like the blue cloth, and then they like cut a hole in the center of it to like put over my junk. And I saw that, and I was like, that's a really generous hole. Like, I appreciate you thinking we need all that, but we're fine. You could have just poked 2 fingers in and we'd have been good. But yeah, so they go, and the doctor like pulls out a needle, and he's like, you're gonna feel some pressure, and like starts numbing things up. And it's important to note that at this moment, the Valium has not kicked in yet. So I'm just like, my blood pressure was 190 over 110. I was, and they were still like, we're doing it! And like did the whole, so then the whole procedure goes, doctor's doing it, and snipping and doing what he does down there. And then he finishes, and the Valium didn't kick in for the whole procedure. The Valium never kicked in. And then the doctor is talking to me, he's like wrapping up the tools he used for the procedure. And he's like, all right, so everything looks good, everything went well. We're gonna send you some pain pills, and we're gonna send them to the same pharmacy we sent your Valium to. And I was like, you gave me a Valium in the waiting room. And the doctor was like, oh no, that was an antibiotic. And I was like, oh. And the doctor was like, are you not on Valium right now? And I was like, no. And then the doctor said, oops. And I was like, you don't get to fucking say that! You don't get to, how dare, what did you do? Replace one of my nuts with a squeaky toy? What happened in this room? I checked, they don't squeak. I kind of wish they did. But it'd be fun, like, hey baby. And I've never said hey baby like that ever. I would just be in a corner, like, quietly alone, like, squeak, squeak. This makes distract from the sad. And then he was like, well, have a good one, and he just sent me on my way. Like, that was it. That was the whole thing. And so now I'm like I'm recovering from the procedure, and as I'm in recovery, I decided to watch a YouTube video of two guys who also got a vasectomy, and they like filmed the whole process because I wanted to compare notes because I had some questions. So I'm watching their video. First thing, right off the bat, like the first frame is them taking Valium. And I was like, fuck you! I was so mad. And then they get into the office. The doctor does not tell them to keep their shirts on, which again, just another kick in my already swollen balls. And then the final worst part is during the procedure, the doctor pulls out a piece of tape. Right? Pulls out a piece of tape. And they were like, what's that for? Right at the same time that I was like, what's that for? And the doctor said, oh, this is so I can tape your penis out of the way so it doesn't interfere with the surgery. He didn't have to do that for me, which means I have a medically insignificant dick. Which I feel like is something people should have support groups for. Just like, has you or a loved one been affected by an MID? Well, call us at 1-800-TEENY-WEENY. Like, I feel like that should be a thing. But yeah, so I recommend getting a vasectomy. Why not? You get a story out of it at least. I'll tell a couple more. I'm gonna get out of here because it's been a good show. Give it up for the spotlight. Give it up for everyone who put on the show. It's been an awesome show. There's a lot of comments. I'm gonna tell a couple more and I'll head out. I have a fairly dark sense of humor. And I think that comes from the fact that when I was in 8th grade, my school put me on suicide watch. And the reason that they put me on suicide watch is because they found my suicide note. It's a really weird thing to laugh at, but I appreciate it. All right, you caught me. They didn't actually find my suicide note. What happened was I had printed out the lyrics to Last Resort by Papa Roach. And they were like, this kid's gonna fucking kill himself. But I like to think that at least one of the guidance counselors was like, pretty catchy ass suicide note. Cut my life into pieces, this is my last resort. Because I have a dark sense of humor, I think there is this misconception that if you have a dark sense of humor, it means you're sad, which I don't think is necessarily true. It is in my case, but for most people, I don't think it is. But the problem is, I make dark jokes, and then my friends think I'm sad, and my friends want to cheer me up. But the problem is, they fucking suck at it. Because they're like, hey, Ethan, you're sad. And that guy over there is sad. You two should be friends. And I'm like, you don't know how sadness works. Because two sads don't make a happy. They make a pact. That's what it is. I spent the weekend the other day making a sex playlist. And I know that I don't look like someone who is in dire need of a sex playlist, alright? But also, fuck you, it can happen, fuck off. Let a man dream, goddammit. I had free time, shut up. But I did run into a problem, which is that I don't listen to a lot of fuck music in my recreation time. Like I'm never on my commute, like, you know what would make this better? A boner. Like, there's never a thought process that I have. So I don't have a huge catalog of, like, jizz jams to run through, right? So I had to, like, outsource. I had to find other people's jizz jams. And it's just fun to say. And the way I did this was, people don't make their playlists private on Spotify. And so you can go look at other people's sex playlists. And after doing that for a weekend, what I have to say is the music y'all fuck to is concerning. Because I found a playlist called Music for Late Night Cunnilingus. And if your sex playlist includes the La La Land soundtrack, Bo Burnham, and Insane Clown Posse, you should go back to the fucking drawing board. Because if I'm in the middle of sex and Shaggy 2 Dope comes in like, homies, sex is fucking over. Because I will come, like that's it. American hero, damn it. I think there's a big flaw with the human body. And this is my last thing. I think there's a big flaw, specifically the male body. Not my male body, but the male body in general. Which is that I think that penises should be detachable. I do. I just think it would be so much easier. Because, like, normal sex is so exhausting, I've heard. And then if penises were detachable, you could be watching your favorite show, right? I don't know, Boston Legal. You're watching Boston Legal, right? You're shouting it up, right? You're having a great time. You're sitting there, you're watching your show. Your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is, comes in. And they're like, hey, babe, I'm in the mood. And you're like, yeah, but fucking... James Spader's fucking killing it right now. And they're like, yeah, but honey, like, come on, it's been a while. And you're like, well, fucking here. You could do it. Honey, can you go fuck yourself, please? Please? But I do see some problems. I do see some problems with the penises were detachable. Because, like, women already get dick pics now. So if penises were detachable, men would just be throwing them at women on the streets. Just like, hey baby, go schlong! And just like chucking them. And then women would be walking down the street, just like, oh, Jesus Christ! We shouldn't have went past this construction site, day. Like, fucking, you'd be at a bar, and a drink would come from a guy, and his dick would be in it, like the most upsetting cocktail umbrella. Just like, I asked for it on the rocks, not the cocks. Like, it would be awful. But, like, the worst part, like, the true worst part about it, like, and the biggest problem is that I'm forgetful. So 100% this would happen. I'd be driving down the road and I'd be like, I think I left my dick at Target. Fuck! I was trying on swimsuits. Okay, it looks better. Fuck. I have to call them. This is Target. How can we help you? Hi. This is really awkward. Has anyone turned in a loose dick recently? Sir, this is okay. It happens all the time. We'll check the cock and found. If you could just do us a huge favor and describe your penis for us so we can get you the right one. It's the huge one? It's the big one. It's the giant one that looks like it would hurt? Sir, it's the small one. It's the one that doesn't need tape. It's that one. All right, thank you guys so much. You've been amazing.